On the 8th of September 2025, the UK Parliament sat down to discuss the 10 years and 15 years route for indefinite leave to remain in British citizenship for skilled workers in the UK. As of now, there have been over 167,000 petitioners who have petitioned to say that keep the 5 years route for those that are already in transition. The debate was very long. Some MPs were for, some MPs were against the petition. But in a nutshell, this is the conclusion, and this is what went on in Parliament on the 8th of September 2025. I want to use this as an opportunity to thank everybody who signed the petition on behalf of our brothers and sisters who are still in transition. This shows that we stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters to stop exploitation of the system by the UK government. And so the topics that were discussed, the nutshell, everything, they were talking about the exploitation of people because it looked like being in a marathon and then in the process of your race, the goalposts have been shifted, and that is exploitation. The second thing they talked about is the reputation of the UK, which would be at stake if this was to be implemented. The third thing that was talked about was whether it has been considered the financial implication, the economic implication of this decision, because when it happens, I bet you a lot of very high skilled people in the process will leave the UK, probably to other countries, and that will have a significant impact on the economy of the country. With this being said, there was also a health concern because some MPs were saying that in their constituent, there are some hospitals that are already struggling because they have backlogs, they've got patients in the hospital who are waiting to be discharged, but because they need package of care, they needed carers to look after these vulnerable people when they've gone home, but they've not got carers to look after them. So as it stands now, already their NHSs are struggling and their adult and social care sectors are left in limbo. With this being said, a lot of people also went the extra mile to write to their MPs. Some even went to their MPs in person with their families to present their case backed with evidence, the exploitation by employers on some skilled workers. I mean, if you want to talk about this, we are going to spend a whole week talking about the exploitation of some employers to their employees who they have given certificates of sponsorship. It is wild. And so when the MPs collectively heard of all of this, and it wasn't coming from one constituent, it came from different angles, they were convinced that this is not a right decision to take to extend it. And so in a nutshell, majority of the MPs supported the fact that those that are already in transition should maintain their 5 years route. However, there were some MPs who did not agree, and I'm going to play this video.
Extraordinary purposes, and we believe should be viewed and treated differently. Implementing these policies in full, though, would save the British taxpayer hundreds of billions of pounds. It would relieve pressure on our already stretched public services and lay the foundations for an immigration system which genuinely works in the national interest. But more than that, it would give effect to the democratic wishes of the British people by reversing a costly disaster that nobody voted for and which most people now acknowledge was a catastrophic mistake. So I would urge the government in the strongest possible terms to commit to implementing the changes that we have repeatedly proposed, including by applying any changes to ILR to those who are already here. A 5-year visa does not confer a right to apply to settle here indefinitely. Those who come here must make a genuine and sustained contribution to our country, and unfortunately most of those who have come on the skilled worker route in recent years are unlikely to do so. If, as the Prime Minister says, our quote open borders experiment has been a mistake, then why should British taxpayers be saddled with the cost of that mistake for the rest of
So in conclusion, the MPs are now tasking the government to come clear as to when the retrospective ILR or whatever decision they're going to be taking is going to be implemented and who it is going to be affecting, because there's been a public concern also from the citizens of UK saying that, listen, even if they are legal migrants, it is becoming too much and we do not want it. And so there's this bone of contention, and the government has to come clear to explain who is going to be qualifying at what time, what are the measures that are taken in place, what is your decision, what is your plan? Because now the MPs are left in limbo, the skilled workers are left in limbo. There is another group of people who also signed petition, which is the Hong Kong British National Overseers, who were also petitioned because this 5 years was going to affect them. Now nobody knows what is happening. Everybody is kind of like, left hanging. And so the MPs are charging the government to come clear to explain when they're going to be implementing what and who is going to affect, so that we all know whether we are going to stay in the country, we are going to leave, or what is going to happen. So in a nutshell, this is what happened on the 8th of September 2025. Nothing was concluded. they have postponed it to discuss it again, and hopefully we'll get some feedback from that time. But they didn't say when or what time it was going to be for the next debate. But keep an eye on this space, and I'll definitely update you when the time comes.